opening music. We just go. It's halftime.
Hey, Andy, how about that drive by the Jaguars late in that half? Oh, my God. Here we go. We got a little momentum. We don't get the ball first, but who fucking cares? Jags are back. What a phenomenally deflating 2 quarters of football for anyone who had anything positive to feel about the Jaguars. That was horrific. And honestly, like, yes, Trevor Lawrence is playing poorly. Yes, he's making bad decisions. Yes, some of the interceptions were his fault. But like the idea that like the first interception was like the weird double tip and they caught it and that they set the Chargers up for a easy touchdown, and that I have counted no fewer than 4 tipped passes by Herbert that have landed on the turf. And it's just like, I guess that's the way this game is going. Like I wish I had seen this coming, Andy. I wish I had seen it coming that the playoffs were not going to go as well as the regular season. If only I had any kind of indication that I was going to give it all back in the playoffs, I would have staked it differently. But yet here we are. Chargers 27, Jags 7. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that last drive was hopeful. If you want any copium, if you want any hope, like
please,
maybe they can get side a live number. Maybe they can just backdoor a teaser somehow. Maybe we can get there. The last drive was good. The parts of certain drives that weren't interceptions were decent. It's been bad variance on these tip balls. It's been bad luck with the. I don't want to blame the refs, but haven't got much help there. And
really have not.
No, and truthfully, like it's the Chargers. Like producer Dan and I were talking about this before you got in there, and he said if I had to name 5 teams who could screw up a lead like this in the league, like the top 5 teams, and then I interrupted him. I said, well, out of my top 5, only one of those teams is in the playoffs. And like we're looking at it because we do have some maybe coaching deficiencies here on the Chargers side at times, but part of the issue we've seen with the Chargers and the play calling and the coaching has been red zone play calling, and they've had a couple of the touchdowns have been kind of nice plays. So I'm not super hopeful, but I think at the same time, the Jags are much better than they displayed, but a couple of those throws were bad. It was just here's the pass rush. I'm going to throw it back shoulder when it should be front shoulder, and hey, this guy's going to step in front and take it. So, it's been very, very depressing to watch, especially when the first game was kind of fun for a while. Like, it would have been nice for that to be competitive, but like I had some props that got there. Like it was awful. It was awful nice to see. And we said this, like, should we take a quick step off of this game and say, like, what's your number right now? And I know that this game would absolutely be played at the link or whatever they call it. But what's your neutral between this Niners team that has all their players back and
I mean, now that Purdy's got his feet wet in the playoffs, and honestly, like he looked fine. Like he didn't have any kind of. Hey, he was a little. There were a couple plays early that could have gone another way, but yeah, he made a bad decision on the first drive. He didn't pay the price because the guy dropped it, and the rest was history. He was fine after that. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is starting again in these playoffs unless Purdy gets his leg broken. Like this is clearly a love affair between Shanahan and Purdy here on in, and it has all of the Brady Belichick 2001, 2002 vibes. I'm not going to be even remotely surprised if the Niners and Purdy win a Super Bowl. Guy just has the ability to manage the game and do exactly what Kyle Shanahan wants to be done. And Kyle Shanahan is on a motherfucking heater right now because he has the most impressive set of weapons that he is operating with. And everybody else in the NFC sucks.
Dan pointed out, like, Shanahan's always been good at scheming receivers open. I said there were several throws where it's like, oh, it was a tighter shot from the camera, but there's no Seahawks in the picture when Deebo caught the ball. That's like go pick Purdy's backup from Iowa State. That guy's making that throw. Like, if you have a good enough coaching
but at the same time,
stars,
there were a couple of like Purdy kind of the play of the game was the drop.
Yeah.
Purdy's best play of the entire game, Ayuk dropped it in the end zone.
I didn't want to compare that to. I hate to compare a guy who we still think might suck eventually to Patrick Mahomes.
But that
was a Patrick Mahomes play. It's like, oh my god, he's running around forever, and they can't cover him forever, and then he throws an amazing throw to the corner.
Speaking of Mahomesian, Justin Herbert going with the freaking sidearm for fun like 10 times so far in this game.
Worked.
Like, all right, yeah. I guess that's what
back
you
to
need
this
to be able
one
to
quick.
do now.
Do you think? I mean,
that the Jaguars make this a game? I don't really.
Well, even if they don't, do we think we get a little bit of value on Jaguars just based off, hey, we're going to get some garbage time maybe at the end. If they're still down 2 scores, maybe we get a trash touchdown. Jaguars should be.
Can you think of a game like this where the Chargers were? Can you think of a game like this where the Chargers were up against a kind of like a legit-ish opponent and they were way, way ahead? Do they let teams back in? I can't even remember. I don't have any kind of game like this on my radar for the Chargers.
There's some 23s. Do you want to just take it over? I think we see.
I guess I don't mind playing the Jags. I don't mind playing the Jags, but like 3 is obviously a dead number. Like I'd rather have 3.5. I'd rather have 6.5. Honestly.
Yeah, it sucks. It's actually a lot of places tough to sell out at halftime. I mean, it's taken some steam, and then the total's down to 22.5. Will you let me parlay that? Of course you will.
Oh.
Yeah. There's nowhere that's going to let me sell it out to 3.5, 6.5. I don't know. I know some of the legal stuff has, but yeah, let's just take some Jags. Jags team total, whatever. So Jags -3.
All right, I'll take it.
The part that pisses me off the most is like Staley screwing up so bad last week, getting a star receiver and not being punished because of all these interceptions. And I mean, I got to give it to like everybody who's stepped in front of those picks, even Drew Tranquil. Again, it was a double tip, but I mean, that was kind of a crazy little over the shoulder little snag. I mean, that's not it looks easy. It's not easy when you're out there trying to change directions and the ball gets tipped. Like all the picks were pretty good. So kudos to the Chargers defense. Chargers were up 27-7 in a game against the Broncos in 2020. What is KCLAC open then? I think, didn't we say 7?
I am fine betting the Jaguars at halftime here.
Okay.
Even though this feels like a Viking funeral pyre. Like, burn me alive.
That's not till tomorrow.
Tomorrow. There's definitely going to be some of that tomorrow. All of a sudden, I really fucking need the Bucks to win. Like, this is not going well.
I do have some good news.
In the back of my head, if the Jaguars don't cover this -3, I kind of don't care. Because I'm going to bet the shit out of the Chiefs against this Chargers team.
You think we get a sub, like a 6?
I think this result is going to skew that under 7, yeah.
Could.
Don't you think?
Yeah. I wouldn't.
In the blind, what's your fare? 7? In the blind.
Did you know Andy Reid's coming up a bye?
Oh, is he? He's had a week to prepare for this game?
I thought I read
a week and a day. A week and a day. Are we going to get some ring around the rosy? That's all I care about.
All right, KC hosting. I make it 8.25. So 8.25. They don't usually hang the.
That's a big number.
Handicap in these totals. Yeah.
What kind of EV? What kind of EV do you have on KC -6.5 if your fare is 8.5?
Oh,
it's an EV bet, right?
Yeah, let's say 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, we're crossing the 7. It's probably more than that.
It's a big bet. I think we might see 6.5.
I'm not doing big bets in the playoffs, so like just we're staking with even keeledness. Just every bet's just going to be the same because I trust the market this time of year. When I'm further off, it's more likely to be my problem than theirs, kind of thing. And we're just every bet in the playoffs is going to be the same unless it's smaller. So that's how I talk about my golf betting. People are like, are you betting these bigger? No, every bet's the same unless it's not, unless it's much smaller. Because it's like, hey, this golfer's 200 to 1. I'm not gonna put a full stake on that guy, kind of thing. So like, yeah, I do think that's a sizable edge, but I'm not gonna go ham on it because it's the playoffs. I gotta save some of this money for Super Bowl props, guys.
What was your real takeaway from the Niners Seahawks? Did you think the Niners deserved the cover? I mean, that felt a little wild at the end there.
I mean, just the fact that they kept the offense churning along. Yeah, I mean, if they'd have gone conservative and still covered, I'd have been like, that kind of sucked. Like, that kind of sucked for anyone who had a good number on Seattle or a good live number on Seattle. But I mean, they kind of kept after it with the offense. And like you said, Ayuk's open, Debo's open. Debo's good for a run here. The fumble really tilted the game. That was
the fumble and then the holding penalty combined with the not calling the pass interference. Like that little dipsy do in the fourth quarter really hurt.
That drive was really good until it wasn't. This was like, and then it was penalty, turnover. Like, oh no, like that got flipped upside down on its head. But they stayed aggressive. They stayed doing, and not only that, and this is kind of anti-Shanahan, truthfully, but he kept doing what was working. Like, oh, this is like they could have just gone to, like a 70-30 run split. They had a good lead, but I mean, they still did throw a little bit there. They stayed kind of aggressive and they were running the same plays that were continually to beat this defense. They had so many guys open. Pacificos, huh?
I'm just drinking lager. Yeah, you can't drink honey brown.
Yeah, and also like if you had Niners like first half money line, like a same game parlay or something, I'm sure
beer. Yeah.
minus 300 or something. If you threw that in a parlay, that sucks. Because like Ward, what a bonehead. Like he's clearly sliding. It's one of those things where you feel for the guy because he's diving and then the guy starts to slide. This was not that. Like he wanted to hit him. And I don't know what world he thought he wasn't getting called for that. It was stupid. And they got a field goal off it. End up didn't mattering. But yeah, truthfully, I talked about this again with producer Dan before you popped into the room. I think it's nature versus nurture kind of stuff. Like we've talked about this Lamar. There's probably 20, 25 other teams where Lamar lands and isn't very good, much less wins an MVP in his first couple of years. Like he landed in a good situation. There's a lot of places where maybe Tom Brady never happens. Things have to happen. And I think maybe player development, player coaching, what happens in practice, what happens during the games, like putting you in a position to succeed, helping you in your journey, like matters. And maybe Brock Purdy just landed in the perfect spot, and suddenly he's going to have a 10-year career as a starter.
Hey,
because I can't pick something apart from this game right now.
What? Give me your gut reaction to this. You ready?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy wins another playoff game in the divisional round. Mm-hmm. Loses at Philly.
Yeah, hard to be mad at him for that.
Okay. We go into the 2023 season, and Kyle Shanahan announces the quarterback competition is open between Lance and Purdy. What is your reaction to that?
I'm not mad. They used a lot of draft capital on Lance. Remember that? Like that was kind of a bad trade in the long run.
So you responded to that like you're not mad that they're not going to give Purdy the job.
I would be a little mad, I guess, but at the same time, like you have a lot of capital, and I feel like it would be more of a let's propping Lance up. Do you know what I mean? Though it's like propping Lance up to say, like,
I'm reacting
hey,
to the fucking refs. What are we fucking doing here? Like, this is awful. The refs fucked me so hard in the regular season last year, and it already through two games in the playoffs. Really, this is where we're going. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, to Randy's point, I could see that. Like, hey, we're having a quarterback competition. Because what does that imply? What does that imply about Trey Lance? He's good. He could be a starter.
He could be a starter.
Because then, if you want to trade him, you haven't just said, "Hey, we've given up on this kid. Do you want this?" This piece of junk that we've parked behind the garage, kind of thing. Like, oh no, this is a only church on Sundays. It's good to go. We'll take a second and a fourth. Whatever you got lying around. And
you think that's where this goes?
I don't. I have no idea where it goes. But like, it doesn't hurt you to prop him up in the market, at least, and the perception of him in that sense.
And I agree with that. Truly.
And it's still Brock Purdy. Like, it's only
right.
Let's say he gets 2 more games. What's that? Like 8 total games. It's still 8 games. It's not a lot.
So riddle me this. Okay. We should be prepared for Lance looks great. Niners might start him. Meanwhile, they're having trade talks with everyone, right?
Yeah.
And
Patrick says keep them both because nobody can stay healthy. Imagine if
Lance comes in as the backup. Yeah,
if you could flip Lance for like a 2nd and a 5th, and then flip Jimmy for like a 3rd and a 6th.
I mean, if the Packers can still be considered a favorite, if the Packers can pick a quarterback in the first round and F what their quarterback said and still emerge somehow unscathed, why not the Niners? No, I think, I mean, if you can get something from Lance, you get something. If you can't, then, you keep him and he's your backup. I think Purdy wins the quarterback conversation. What's that?
We're like 0 for 1,000 on guessing what teams they're going to do going ahead.
I'm just trying to anticipate, like, I'm trying to anticipate, like, we hear this is coming out of San Francisco, like these, this is bubbling from people connected to the team. Like, what does that mean? Right? Like, I'm just trying to prepare myself because I'll be 100% honest with you. The bromance between Purdy and Shanahan feels like Shanahan is going to go fucking down with Purdy one way or the other, whether it's this year or next year or in fucking 20 years. Like, those guys are riding to the end. Purdy does exactly what Shanahan wants. It is like that feels like an absolute fit. And the idea that we could live through a second Belichick Brady type of marriage is insane, but
pretty high step. Yeah. And really, like, and I've said this 4 times because I got into the room early and I was talking to producer Dan, but I said there were so many things that Purdy does well already that you see 5-10 year veterans like screw up. Like, of
course,
the couple of plays near the end of the half where he had to scramble a little. You see so many quarterbacks take a sack there, trying to force something because like, I only have 2 or 3 plays left. I have to hold the ball and I have to make a throw. And it's like he has really good decision making already, where it's like, all right, I'm going to throw this one away. Like, he throws the ball away when he needs to, but he also realizes when he doesn't have to because he still has room to scramble.
Of course,
I thought he did a really good job. And again,
of course, he has scrambling ability. His scrambling is sick.
Like, calm your tits, Andy. It is the Seahawks. You're not playing the 70s Steelers pass rush here, but still, like,
how many of those there are in the NFC playoff field? None.
Yeah,
the 70s Steelers are not in this playoff field.
Yeah, the Eagles will give them a little trouble. Obviously, the Bucks can, but maybe Dallas a little. Minnesota if they end up meeting up. They all have like decent pass rush, but there's nobody that's amazing, I don't think. But they have. He's done.
People are upset that we're comparing Purdy to Brady because we're like limiting his ceiling. Like, does Purdy have a higher ceiling than Brady?
Yeah, it's like 9, 10, 11 Super Bowls.
It's a fair question.
I keep trying to like pick his game apart. Like, even if I wouldn't have, obviously I'm gonna not watch the NFL playoffs.
I think his turnover worthy plays, he is like 0 for 18 in 7 starts. Something along those lines. Like no turnovers today, even though he hit a guy in the fucking hands in the first drive. There were at least 2 he probably should have had. Ago. I know it was. Definitely was. Absolutely was. I don't know, man. I think Purdy and Shanahan seems to be the most excited about what he's got in Purdy in terms of the marriage between the skill set and his vision, which is I think the part that I have always missed.
What sold me on the Shanahan being in love with Purdy thing was Patrick's pointed out he bet under 28.5 pass attempts. That got bet down to like 26 in the market. The general consensus was you have 2 really good running backs. One might be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. You have Debo doing crazy things nobody else can do, and it might rain. Like, why would the game plan ever be Brock Purdy throws the ball 30 plus times? And I mean, if the game had been closer, he might have had 35, 40 attempts. The game plan was getting him the ball, dropping back, and letting him make plays. And so, I mean, the trust is already there. It's not what I thought we'd see when Garoppolo went down. Like, your first instinct is, oh, season's over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very much my first instinct.
I
think I'm on record. I think Dan put me on record as saying the 49ers aren't winning bleep at the time when Jimmy Garoppolo went down.
Well, I should do a victory lap on this then.
Go ahead.
I want to do a victory lap, but I also want to say in no way, shape, or form did I ever predict 6-0 Brock Purdy. So I said, I think my exact words were something along the lines of they could still eke out the division because it's Shanahan and there's so many good players on this team. Like, he doesn't have to win all the games. I think I said they could go 2-3 as long as they beat the Seahawks and they still win the division. And I'm like, I think you can still do that with a backup quarterback because they have so many good players. I cannot victory lap Brock Purdy winning all these Super Bowls now that he's going to win. I just thought, like, hey, they could scheme around a shitty backup quarterback, right? So this is beyond anything we thought would happen, obviously. But yeah, and to Birdie's point, yeah, they have not played very many good defenses in the Brock Purdy era yet. We have yet to see it against a good defense. That'll be very telling. I'm excited to see how he matches up against, the Bills.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like, if they get Minnesota, we're still not going to get to see him against a good defense. Like, and I've said nice things about some of the pieces in Minnesota, but boy, Minnesota secondary can be picked apart by a smart offense.
Although that's a good over spot, probably, right? What's that total?
Niners, Vikes. I mean, it depends what the Giants game turns out to be, and obviously the Vikes need to win. I
should just be betting totals. I fucking love the over in that early game.
I'm in Jaguars.
God damn. I should. You know what? That's how I break the regular season, postseason bullshit. I flip from sides to totals. I'm only betting totals from here in rest of the season.
Let's say it ends up near the median projection. Like, we end up somewhere between 47 and 52 points in the Vikings game. And the Vikings come out on top. Let's say it's the same score, 27-24. Mm-hmm. Let's say the box scores are indicative of that was pretty much the correct score.
Mm-hmm.
And the Niners host the Vikings, and the weather's good. Let's say
the weather's going to be beautiful next week.
Weather, it sounds like the weather's turning.
It's going to be beautiful.
46
over.
I think just based on a
keep going up, and I'll tell you when I'll pass.
59
passing.
Okay. 47 and a half.
Over.
Really? Okay. I think it opens 46 and a half. I mean, again, if the 48.
Over.
Oh my God, Dan needs to set this to the yodeler music from
Andy.
from
You know
Right.
what game is 48?
What?
Vikings Giants. You know what
Yeah,
offense is better than the Giants? The fucking Niners.
That's fair.
I
know, but
48 is over.
I really think the Niners defense is a lot better than the Giants.
Well, obviously.
I think that implied score is something.
But up against the Vikings offensive line, Darisaw, he can neutralize Bosa. I think that's.
I'm more worried about the secondary. I'm worried about Cousins doing.
It's an over game. That's an over game.
What would you make
I would stop at 51. I would pass. Wow. 51 is a pass for me. Otherwise, I think that's an over game.
Yeah.
Vikes Niners is an over game.
I'll take it with you.
The Niners defense is not as good as the market thinks, particularly their pass defense. And you know who has a good wide receiver? The Vikings.
Yeah, Bevel, Anvil. Adam, just leave a comment under the YouTube video. I'll send you a link after we're done here. I'll be done in a few minutes. I gotta get home, get my drink on.
Okay.
I guess I hit Bruce here.
What was your other question? What was your question about? The side?
The side I'd make it 8 in San Fran.
I don't know. I can't win on sides. It's playoffs, Andy.
I'd make it 8 and 46.5.
Sure.
So what's that imply for the Minnesota's scoring then? 23 minus 4. That implies Minnesota needs to get to like 20.
Oh, they getting there. They getting there.
God, maybe I am low. I'll have to run through this.
That's a fun scoring game.
It seems like a bad matchup for all because we've talked about Minnesota. It's like Justin Jefferson's a god. Mm-hmm. But then like Thielen, Osborne, Hawkinson, Irv, Delvin, none of those guys are as good as we make them out to be sometimes, because as a unit it operates so well. I really think the secondary and some of even the linebacker coverage can neutralize a lot of not Jefferson stuff, and Minnesota might have a really bad time.
Dude, Evan Ingram, for Christ's sakes, how do you not get there? My God, dude.
My God, dude. All right. Hey, I hope you guys have a good and Tyler, Drew, did you do something with Gil for Ozzy?
I talked to 2 Gils. Gil Alexander of VSiN and Gil Gross of the Tennis Channel.
Oh, I forgot about the Gil Gross.
Gil Gross, yeah. Talked to 2 Gils. Gil Gross is, the pod with Gil Alexander was the comprehensive betting pod you want to listen to, but the Gil Gross one and Pam obviously kind of hosted it and did a good job there. He has a very unique perspective because he's like literally traveling with the tour and seeing these guys all the time. Like he's got some nuggets that you aren't going to get if you aren't, I would assume the mix.
You could find, if you went onto Drew's Twitter, you could find both of those, but not.
I think those are my last 2 tweets. I think those are my last 2 tweets.
So Tyler, if go whale_capper on the Twitter, and you should be able to find a couple of good previews. I'm excited for it.
My last tweet was the Seahawks whale, which I had to tweet because that was the only chance I could have gotten after that DK touchdown. But if you go further back, there's the Gil Pam tweet, and then a little further back is the Gil Alexander beating the book tweet. Yeah.
We'll always have Seattle first half.
Whew. I didn't lose any money on that game, Andy, because they opened a bad second half line in that one. And that is how that went. Oh no, Trevor Lawrence gets sacked for a 50-yard loss on 3rd down and a flag.
We're calling it a neutral
zone infraction. I like that. I'm fine with that. Fine with that. Neutral zone infraction. I saw it in the moment and I didn't see the flag. Yeah. All right.
I don't have a flag. I have this hat.
All right. We need a Jags touchdown.
I'll stay on. I was going to go,
first
but
and
I'm
goal. It's first and goal. It's first and goal. It's first and goal. I'm way behind, by the way. So you couldn't already tell.
You need the field goal at some point, though.
No. We need the touchdown at this point. Desperately. Although this game, anyone that bet the under is probably not feeling super great right now, right?
Oh, and Drew, I mentioned this before. I didn't get to it, but I do have some good news.
Play it on.
The Canucks lost again.
Oh, did they fire Bruce?
No, not yet. But their next game is the 5th game of a road trip.
Oh, no.
They could lose all 5 games. They'll probably be I would guess Carolina will be like a minus 250 favorite. So the chances of them going 0 for 5 on the road trip, leaving Bruce. I mean, a lot of people are just like, hey, everyone loves Bruce, and you should mercy fire him because it's like it's just mean to let him coach his team. You're not bringing him back next year. So here's hoping.
Mercy kill. Let's fingers crossed for the mercy kill.
Fingers crossed on that. Someone asked, do we still believe in the Magic, or should I grade that and move on? A lot of games left.
Yeah, a lot of games left. It's a game of runs, guys.
I'll say that about everything.
It's a game of runs, guys. There's a lot of games left.
I was drinking water there.
Sorry to do that to you. Yeah, shit. 3rd and goal at the 1.
At the 1.
This is Andy. You know what this is?
What would Lombardi do?
Andy, you know what this is?
What?
This is 4 down territory.
Oh God. That was again, maybe I don't know if I mentioned this to Dan or I actually said it on here, but my God, the Dungy. Dungy's like, I would take the points here, but it's like a 53-yard field goal outside.
Dude.
Like, I hate you.
Oh no,
Tony,
Dungy.
I hate you.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, good, delay a game.
Oh no.
How's my Jokic?
For Christ's sakes.
How do you feel? How do you feel about the voter fatigue for Jokic?
Randy?
Good.
Randy, I hope you have your motherfucking mortgage on that bet because that is winning. And 23-1 is an amazing number. Amazing number. You did it. You fucking did it, Randy.
Is there anyone else you would take just to offset your stake, or you just ride it?
Nope. Jokic is winning.
And then Scott, I heard that too. I heard Stroud will be declaring. Somebody made a case. Somebody made a case on Twitter like, is Ohio State putting together a really big package for him? NIL. I'm like, you know what else pays really well? Well, touchdowns for the Jaguars.
Back. We're fucking back.
NFL contracts pay really well, guys.
Yes, they do.
Along with the endorsement deals you can take as an NFL player and a quarterback.
You're goddamn right.
So,
hey, you know what looks a lot less terrible with 4 interceptions, 2 touchdowns on the stat sheet. Holy shit.
This is my favorite part. We've had 63 combined attempts between these guys already.
Amazing. Hopefully Staley and the Chargers have just a phenomenal travel fatigue hits them like an anvil here. What's the?
Scott's making fun of landing in Houston. Why would you want to push your free agency back? Yeah, you got to pull the Band-Aid off. Play your time down in Houston. Yeah, the
Stroud's not going. Stroud's not going to Houston. Apparently, you've heard the buzz.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of teams that aren't super fucking high on Bryce Young for whatever reason. Because he's tiny, I guess.
Yeah, that guy better be, because the kind of workout you do in season is probably different than you're doing prepping for the combine. I'm sure he's hired a combine.
He should put on 25 pounds.
I was going to say he needs to be just snorting lines of creatine and
here I was thinking like just eating like
protein powder and everything.
No, I'm thinking like just like take a dozen eggs, hard boil them, peel them, and then eat them. I think that's what you should do.
Yeah, I mean, just watch Cool Hand Luke. Just follow the Cool Hand Luke game plan.
Hard boiled eggs. Hard boiled eggs. Let's fucking go.
You can put protein in anything. I knew a guy, and I don't want to take this to negative town. I will say this person is completely
he
pretty much recovered from cancer.
Other powdered drugs with creatine?
No. This is a person who had cancer.
He had cancer. Oh God.
No, shit. When you're having chemo, you really struggle with like smells of food and stuff.
Of course, yes.
Worried about starting
to lose
weight.
That's why marijuana is very good if you are in that space. It's true. Yes.
But he started putting like a shitload of protein powder in his coffee in the morning, just unflavored. So he was taking like a massive amount of protein with coffee because like he could barely keep anything else down.
Of course.
And he like somehow gained weight during chemo. So if that guy could do it,
I think
Bryce Young could put on 20 pounds.
I had an elder African-American gentleman that lived next door to me when I was recently out of college who was going through cancer treatment. Super nice guy, James. Just like an absolute fucking like angel of a dude, like such a nice guy going through cancer treatment. He needed a pot desperately in order to like get his appetite up so that he could eat food. He needed it in order to eat food. And in North Carolina, at least, there was no other way besides talking to us college kids to buy pot. And that was a tough time. And
should we end on these downer stories?
No. There's more to it, but I'll tell that story another time, I guess.
Have you seen the price of eggs? That's fair. Like, so, and anyone who's in the Midwest, or if you live in Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, you know what Quick Trip with a K is. Quick Trip is always the best place to buy eggs, butter, milk. It's always cheaper than the grocery store. Eggs for many, many, many years here have been 99 cents a dozen at Quick Trip. It's like $5. I feel bad having breakfast anymore. So
yeah, so we would just give James pot. Hey man, like dude, like
charge you.
No, of course not. Absolutely not. Like, here you go, man. Like, we got you, buddy. Like, take care of yourself. Be good. Enjoy your life. See your kids, whatever.
I actually have a chicken coop. I don't have any chickens.
When he ultimately passed away, he left us his stash of absolute fucking insane narcotics that they were giving him, like morphine.
What's the statute of limitations on this?
Oh, this is long time ago. But like,
his
wife was like, we really appreciate you like taking care of James and giving him marijuana. Like, thank you. Like, here's he wanted you to have this, and I thought it was going to be like a letter of like just appreciation. It was all his drugs. Like, whoa, like what the fuck are we gonna do with this? Like, wow, this is. This is a lot. Like,
if you take drugs, like, how many beers does it take you to get drunk? Because you can just, if you have a Percocet, the answer is 1. This is not advice.
No.
All right, so let's hope we can get a stop here. At least get us within. I'd love to see 21-27. Get me a teaser. Get me at least inside this teaser number. So, all right. Also, by the way, Drew, I placed a teaser very early in the week. You want to hear what it was?
Straight the dealer, find the supplier. We got Ice Cube in the chat. Devs. That's from 21 Jump Street. If you didn't know.
Good movie. All right, I have a teaser, a 6.5 point -120. I played early in the week. It is Bills -2.5, Cincinnati -1.
The fucking refs are killing us in this game. That was clearly an incomplete pass to Everett, and they gave him fucking 15 yards on that. God damn it!
You challenge that, Doug.
God damn it!
How am I supposed to play? There's 2 naked bikers having sex in the woods. Kick him off the tour, Doug. All right.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to the bar.
Holy shit. That was a 25-yarder. God damn it. Oh, no. That was a 21-yarder. Jesus Christ. Ay. This is just...
We're going to get a ball.
Just a disaster. Moment. Just a disaster of a start to the playoffs.
Oh, God.
This is miserable. Do not love.
Let's go Carolina Hurricanes.